Konbawa Mina, welcome back to another video. Today I have the structure deck Spirit Charmers, which is the new structure deck for Yu-Gi-Oh! And basically it's just old support for a well-known, for the pretty much I think the first waifu archetype, if I'm to say something. So this is the box opening. So I bought 3 of these, so you get alternate arts with the tokens, and that was one of the big kind of collectability part of this, is that there's 4 alternate arts of each Spirit Charmer. And like always with structure decks, you have to buy 3 to actually make something playable. But in this card list, we do actually get a decent amount of cards like Raigeki and Dark Ruler No More. So, alright, we'll just open the box now. So, token. I got the token already, so, already. But it's a token, who cares? I don't think this deck doesn't really use a lot of tokens, I guess. So it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, support, but like, I don't want to. You're not gonna use it. It's just gonna sit in a binder, really, you know. So we have a token. You have the alternate art of Familiar Possessed Hida, and then your Familiar of the Possessed Archfiend. Then you have Denari Fire, and then you have Grand Spiritual Art, Cheating, Spiritual Charmers. I think that's a summon. Discard 1, take 2 cards from your deck with different names from each other. Yeah, Charmer or Familiar Possessed Monsters and or Possessed Spell Traps, and add 1 of them to your hand. So then you have a super rare Raigeki, which is kind of nice, I would say. Raigeki gets a lot of printings, and even though it's limited at 1, it does get the printings just because it's destroy all monsters your opponent controls. It's a big, like, alright, blanket destruction. So next we have Possessed Partnerships. This, I think, also brings out, yeah, 1 spellcaster monster with 1500 defense from your hand or graveyard attack position. So it's basically recurrence and, like, graveyard recurrence, which is nice. Then you get the basic Asusa, the Charmer, Era, Hida, Win, and then Nefarious Archfiend Eater of the Nefariousness, Gigabyte, Inari Fire, Ran Ryu, Fairy Tale Sleeper, Rella, Luna, Witchcrafter, Golem Maru, which is in good support for spellcasters at least, because it's basically a free hand trap and summon from the hand. Dark Dorado. I'm not really sure this one. I think it's just because it's, yeah, basically the normal summon is to stack your deck with the Charmers. Witch of Black Forest for searching. Effect Failure, good reprint, basically. Denko Sekka. I'm not really sure about this card. This is kind of like one of those like flat ones where it's like they kind of had to put it somewhere. Awakening of the Possessed. Secret Village of Spellcasters. This is a good reprint right here. This definitely needed the reprint, in my opinion, because I think the latest copy on TCG was about $7. So, Spellbook of Knowledge, another good reprint. Terraforming, as always. Book of Eclipse for flipping. Twin Twisters, Dark Roll No More. Probably the most real reliable part about this deck is getting Dark Roll No More, because this was a 2019 tin promo. So with the Nibiru, which we got back in Maximum Gold. If you haven't seen the Gold Nibiru yet, go check out my live streams, because I pulled a couple of those on there. Unpossessed, Spiritual Earth, Kurogane, Water Art, Fire Art, Wind Art, Metaverse, Dimensional Barrier, Solemn Warning. These 2 right here are probably the better 2 reprints with Solemn Warning and Dimensional Barrier, because they're just basically good staples. Familiar Press Asusa, Familiar Possess, Area, Hida, and Win. And then you have your Duel Links stuff on the back. Duel Links, Legacy of Duelist, and Phantom Rage. I kind of wish they would give you packs to play in Duel Links, you know? Because that's what Pokemon does, and I definitely got a bunch of Pokemon boxes too, so look forward to those videos when I get to them. So let's talk about the meta-ness of this deck. So overall, as with all structure decks, you need to buy 3. So with the price, you're running about $30. But with it, you get a decent amount of reprints that are pretty good with Solemn Warning and your Raigeki and Dark Roll No Mores. I think this is more of a collectability point wise with the alternate arts of the tokens, where you can get different artworks. I'll find the token that's right here. different alternate artworks of the tokens from each deck. I think there's 4 in total for each token, 1 for each charmer. So if you're into collectability of cards, this is probably a good deck for you, just for filling out your trade binder or just like having it on display or whatever. Another one is that you get a pretty neat um, field, which is it's a paper one that has like a really cool art guide over here. So Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG Art Gallery, you have like basically the token artworks. You get the flats and before the shading, and then your kind of playmats and other card arts. But what I like about this one is that it's kind of it's very clean in what it's working with. So you have the basic like art over here, and as you can tell, there's no sort of names or symbols on the playmat, which I like, because when you see over here with the Ignition Assault one, right, you kind of have to. This one over here has like spell, and it kind of ruins the picture. So I think this playmat right here is a great way of showcasing the artwork, as well as giving a much needed place for people to play on. I think they really should do for like next playmat, like if they have do artworks like this, is to get rid of like this extra monster zones and stuff. Just because it's if you know how to play Yu-Gi-Oh, you don't really need them. And if you're having a playmat like the Ignition Assault one underneath this one, you don't necessarily need to have the places there. Maybe just Pendulum and that kind of stuff. So, but what do you think? I'm really curious. I'm in the sense of this was a good collectability standpoint of a wifey archetype, especially, and I'd probably give this a solid 5 out of 10, really, for overall meta-ness and like playability, because you do need 3 of these. It's not like right out of the box like a starter deck. So 5 out of 10, definitely for collectors, not really for meta play. If you're going to buy something, buy singles of things. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. I will see you guys next time. Sayonara.